Alright, going to show you guys how to do a user skin for this P51. To start out, what I like to do is go ahead and find inspiration on kind of like where I want to take the project and how I want to visualize it. So the best thing to do is just to hit up Google, find some images. I've already done that, so I'll show you guys what I have, what image I found that I'm going to be using to paint this Mustang after. So I have this concept car. It's like a sports car, kind of looks like a Mustang or a Chevelle or something like that, more like a Shelby or something. So I really like these lines, the nice clean straight lines and whatnot. So what we're gonna try to do is try to accomplish this overall styling and paint job on the P51. So first thing that you need to do is go into War Thunder, find the plane you're going to be using, go down here to user skin and press this magic wand, and what that's going to do is it's going to create two .tga files in your War Thunder folder. So if you go then back into Photoshop, go open. You can see I was already working on my Typhoon, but under War Thunder there's a under your War Thunder directory there's a user skins folder. So just go into that and it'll list all the different planes that you have done custom user skins for. So we're going to be working with the P51, so that's this guy right here. We'll go in there and you can see that we have actually 4 files for that. We have the what I assume is the tangent space normals or object space normals. Object space normals damaged, and this is the clean version. This is the damaged texture, and this is the regular texture. So what we want to start with is this regular texture. So we'll go ahead and open that up. So as you can see, this is the P51. If we go back to War Thunder, you'll recognize it. See, we have all the yellow like grid pattern here, and like all the stripes on the wings and whatnot. So if we go back to Photoshop now, you see we have all that in here. So we're gonna actually need to clean all that up before we get started with texturing it like the concept. So the best way to go about doing this is just to like, and this isn't going to be a tutorial on showing how to use Photoshop or how to, you know, it's not going to go into huge on how to use your paint application, but the best thing to do is just to go at it and paint in color where you want to remove stuff and get rid of things. So let's go ahead and start on this, removing this star. So what I'm going to do actually for this is I'm going to go ahead and use calculations to select that blue area, or at least get a good selection of it, so I can kind of get this. There we go. That should be a good selection right there. You see how we have a nice crisp line going all the way around that area. So that's going to give me an alpha. Now, again, I'm not going to be going in on all of the different things that you can do to remove all these things inside of Photoshop. I'm assuming you have some working knowledge of how to do these things. So first off, we'll just start by getting rid of some things. Okay, I'm just going to fill this in now. And this is going to be pretty repetitive, and a lot of the same things that I do to this one area are going to be the same for the rest. So it may not be beneficial to just have just watch this section here. What we want to do is probably, you guys could probably skip ahead, and you guys can see when it's finished once I post this on YouTube. But for now, it's going to be just showing you guys how to it's just going to be a non-stop tutorial. So if there's problems, just skip ahead of them if you're watching this post. Okay, so now that we have that selection, we're going to find an area that we could use to replace it with. So I'm going to just grab this area here. And we'll just replace this whole thing here with what we have. Looks like we're a little off, so I'm gonna use that selection to only get the area that we want to be there, and use masks to mask it out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and merge this down and start painting out some of these issues that have happened. Start getting in here, like I said before, and just start painting out all the issues that we ran into before. I mean, if you guys haven't seen any tutorials on Photoshop itself, I would recommend it. It's a very powerful program, especially if you're trying to do these kind of edits. It's very useful for getting rid of or doing these kind of this kind of work, and it's Photoshop is what the industry uses for doing all of this. Okay, so we almost got this. I'm not being too careful because a lot of this stuff is so small that you probably won't even notice it being there, especially when you're flying the plane around and not paying attention to this area. So it's not imperative that it be perfect, but I mean, if you want to spend the time to get something perfect, you could. So with this one, I'm not gonna make this selection this time, because I want to show other ways of doing things. So you don't have to do the selection if you don't want to. You can just kind of start making us, or trying to get these to be what makes sense. So you can see there's some dots coming in here, so I'm going to use this line here of dots to kind of take the place of that area. And you see that I brought this detail up here now, so I can remove that by just grabbing that middle of that line there, and there it's gone. So what I'm using right now is called the clone tool. I think it's called the clone tool, or the clone stamp. So what that does is it basically takes whatever I'm targeting, and right now you can see my cursor is like a little target. So I can target on something, and then when I paint, it'll reference that point that I targeted. So it's a great little paintbrush type thing to be able to be using, especially for getting rid of details. It's essential, really. So again, yeah, just going around trying to find similar areas and paint out the areas that I don't want and paint in the areas that I do want. So don't want any of this stars. Stupid stars, get out of here. What are you thinking? Another thing that might be useful is to go and see if anybody's posted a blank pattern or blank texture for the plane you're planning on working on. That's something that I've been seeing around lately, is that people have been posting like their cleaned up versions, so people can just go ahead and start being creative with their textures and not worry with their skins, and not worrying about having to spend the time like I am right now in cleaning up a texture. So which is nice, but you know, it's always better to do the work yourself, so you know you get practice at it. But if you really if you really don't like doing the cleanup, then I can understand. I'll be right back. One sec. Alright, sorry about that, I had a phone call. So, yeah, just continuing to paint this stuff out and like clean it up is what you want to be doing. It's gonna take a while. I'm saying this is probably gonna be taking like at least a couple hours. So, I would suggest, if you're not too comfortable with Photoshop, that you try to find an already pre-made texture, because that way you know, can just jump right in and get started and playing around with it. But it's not imperative that you have to do that. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna take a break and play some War Thunder, so we'll get back to the tutorial after a bit. But before we get back to the tutorial, let's go ahead and see what it's starting to look like, and see what we've done so far. So now that we've saved out that as a target and replaced the target that's there, what we can do is just hit refresh here, and you can see we've painted out all that detail. Now this little outline here is probably in the normal, so we'll need to go and that may even be the specular. We'll need to go take a look at replacing that area as well, so we don't get that shine there. But you can see our wings are looking nice and clean now. We don't have those stripes on them, and now we're also going to be seeing where we still have to clean up and where we left off. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I put in these little red marks to let me know where this part of the texture cuts off, and then where this part of the texture starts. So it's kind of like a note for me to say, okay, this is where this should be aligning to this corresponding point. So if when we look at our reference images, we have these straight lines that go all the way down the body. So when we go to try to do those kind of straight lines, we'll know what we're doing.